This meeting is being recorded, and that is a reminder for me to be very mindful about what I talk about, because somebody is going to listen to this one day, or maybe not. Anyway, it doesn't make any difference because I'm just going to tell you the way things are, at least according to my perception, sometimes according to the teaching of the Buddha or other teachings that I've heard. And ultimately, everything is up to your own perception. Not only your perception, but your conditioning, the way that you understand what it is that you perceive. So, which also means that we are all responsible for our own karma. So, two people watching this same talk or listening to this talk will have two different reactions. One person might listen to this and say, "Hallelujah! This is glorious. This is wonderful. This is amazing." Another person could say, "Oh, this guy's talking about the devil. He's the devil, and this is nasty, horrible, wicked, and whatever." Same talk, same words, same experience from me, but can be perceived in even the very different and completely opposite way by different people. So this means that everything must come back to you. It comes back to your perception, your ability to see and know things as they really are. And why is it that we don't see and know things as they really are? It's because we have been taught, largely, we've been taught to think, to process things by thinking about them. Imagine if there was a topic at school called intuition. How to develop your intuition rather than develop your intellect. Developing your intellect is okay. It's good for crunching numbers and solving problems, etc. But intuition is also good. It's good for navigating life, especially when we are around people and other beings. Being able to crunch numbers, to do mathematics, to be able to um, perform other things, the skills that they teach us at school, may not necessarily make your life happy, may not necessarily make your life peaceful, smooth, calm, clear. Then we have to ask ourselves, what do I want? What do I really want in this life? So, the topic that I've got for tonight is diving into the divine. I started to write, I can't remember whether I was writing diving or divine, but actually they're only one letter difference. D-I-V-I-N-G, D-I-V-I-N-E, diving, divine. I don't think they're actually related, these two words, but who knows? You can check out their etymology by yourself if you like. I didn't do it. But what happens when you take divinity, that is, however you understand the divine, as a theme for your life? There are people who say, can you see the divine in everyone and everything? Divine in Christian terminology usually refers to heavenly. It refers to perhaps God. It could refer to angels. It could refer to spiritual and spirituality, divine, divinity. It's interesting, in Buddhism, we also talk about heaven realms. And we even have one of the most beautiful teachings of the Buddha called metta, which I'm talking about also on our retreat. And I talk about it here quite often, and we practice it. Metta is one of the four Brahma Viharas, or we translate that into English as divine abodes, divine, heavenly, the heavenly abodes, the heavenly realms, the heavenly dwellings, the places where heavenly beings live and reside. The four divine abodes. The first one is metta, that is unconditional love or loving kindness, universal love. I also refer to it starting with self-love, pure love, love without any expectation. This is a divine love. Imagine if you took this as a theme for your life. You only took one theme. You only focused on one thing every day, even as much as you could in every conversation or every action that you did. And you even ask yourself, is this action divine? Is this action leading to divinity or a divine state, a divine feeling? When I talk to this person, am I seeing the divine in this person? Am I seeing their heavenly qualities? Am I seeing the metta in this person? Am I seeing the pure love in this person? Actually, as I've already said, it really starts with seeing that pure love in yourself. It starts with the self-love. If you can't see that that pure love in yourself, or the self-love or unconditional love in yourself, then the question is, what's blocking it? What's blocking the pure love? What is blocking the divine? What is blocking my connection with heaven? Not only heaven, I prefer to speak about truth more so than heaven. To me, truth is more important than heaven. Heaven is beautiful, but if I'm born in heaven, if I die in this life and I'm reborn in heaven, I will still have to live out my life in heaven and then be reborn somewhere else. Is that what I want? Do I want to just keep going round and round from life to life? The Buddha said that this also is suffering. Even though you're being born in a heavenly realm, a beautiful realm, or having a beautiful worldly life and a beautiful life on earth as a human, even the fact that you are born, you live, and you die is already suffering. But then all the stuff that happens in between. The Buddha also spoke about becoming tired of the rounds of rebirth, going from life to life to life to life. Most people won't see this in their life. In fact, most people have this really cool saying, YOLO, YOLO, which means you only live once, which is a kind of a cool thing to say. And in a way, it's kind of nice because it's pretty much saying, enjoy the moment, make the most of life. And that's okay, as long as you're not harming anyone or just blindly following your desires and I don't know, creating more problems in the world. But we don't only live once. There must have been something that brought us to this world. There must have been a cause for us to come into this world. It wasn't just our parents making love. On a physical level, that's what happened. But on a spiritual level, on a divine level, what they did by their union was they opened up a vacancy for a being to come into this holy communion, if you like, into this connection of these two people. This person has their karma, the father has his karma, the mother has her karma. These two people come together to create an opportunity for another being to come into this, a being that has the karma that suits these two people. And thus we are born into this world. Where did we come from? Sometimes people can say that they know. The Buddha knew where people were existed before they came to this life. He also knows where they go after this life. But for ordinary people, we can't see this. We don't seem to have access to this information. But one thing is for sure, we've lived a previous life, and not only one, but could even be uncountable lives before we came into this existence. So why are we here? We must be here to learn. To me, that's really what I see is the purpose of my existence, is to learn. I don't think I'm a particularly fast learner, to be honest. And sometimes I like to skip lessons or, you know, just be absent, not go to school. That's also my karma. I'm happy to accept that as it is. If you would like to reduce your suffering, become free from suffering, then we really need to pay attention, which means we really need to learn our lessons, which means that we are really fulfilling the purpose for us to be in this life, is to be present. Can I just check that everybody has muted themselves, please? Oh, I guess I can do it. I already did it once. It's all right. I've done it. So nothing like a Zoom meeting to completely distract you away from your topic. What was the last thing I said? Would anyone like to help me?
It was the idea that we are here because we had to learn to be present if we would like to have a lesson suffering.
Yep. Lessen our suffering or become free from suffering completely. And even to escape this round of this cycle of being born again and again, which again, if you only think I only live life once, then you will be ignorant of this cycle of the wheel of suffering. And that's why many people, especially in my culture, but also cultures that don't have the teaching of rebirth, they will very easily take their lives. They will easily commit suicide because they think, well, if this is all life has to offer me, then I'm just going to quit this life. I've got too many problems. I can't deal with them. I'm just going to kill myself and finish all the problems. But unfortunately, they don't realize that they've just started even more problems because nobody has the right to kill anybody You don't even have the right to kill yourself. Killing yourself is killing a human being. Killing yourself is the same as killing anybody. So that's where meditation comes in. Instead of committing suicide, then, of course, what we need to do is get to the root of the problem. If you can remove the root of the problem, you can remove the problem. That means if you remove the cause of suffering, you remove the suffering. And this is what the basis of the Buddha's teachings is. There is suffering, there is a cause for suffering, you can be free from suffering, and there is a way that leads you to become free from the suffering. It's as simple as that. So, and that sounds really simple in a short nutshell explanation. But then how do we practice? How do we practice to become free? It takes mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to live in the present moment no matter what's happening around you, in your body, and in your mind. The ability to be present no matter what happens. What I'm suggesting tonight, and in this little sharing, is that we can take a theme. The theme I'm offering is the theme of divinity. We can also call it spirituality. Mm, we could call it living with your heart. So, what it means is when we speak, can we speak with our heart, with our metta, with our loving kindness, with can we speak with the wisdom that I am a divine being, I am a spiritual being. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I'm free from faults. It just means that my innermost self, which there isn't a pure, unchanging core of a self, but that essence that I believe that I am is actually consciousness, spirit. It is divine. It is pure. That is my true nature. And that is a flow. That is constantly changing, like the wind, like water, like fire, like all the elements, constantly in a changing, flowing, dynamic fashion. It is also energy. Consciousness is energy. Can we start to live? And I'm not saying that I am perfect at this. Sometimes my talks and the topics of my talks are as much a teaching for myself as they are for you. I'm not enlightened. I haven't realized these things perfectly, but I see the path. I've seen the obstructions to the path. And therefore, I also know that there is a way. There must be a way that we can become free. We can become more clear. We can become closer to the pure love that we would love to experience within ourselves, that we would love to see in others, that we would love to feel from others, and love to feel with others. There is a way. And that's what I'm talking about. This taking divinity, taking spirituality, taking metta, loving kindness, unconditional love as a basis for your life. So before you say something, you question. Is this question based in metta? What is my intention here? Is this divine? Do I see the divine in myself? Do I see the divine in the other? Do I see divine in both myself and the other? Is this conversation divine? Is my intention divine? Divine here also means pure. I could also throw in natural. Is it loving? If you find that it's not, then maybe don't say it. Just let it go. Maybe it wasn't worth saying. If it's not divine, then let it go. What about the action that you're about to do? Some action, especially towards somebody else. Is this divine? Am I acknowledging the divinity in me, the divinity in you? Am I coming from a divine place? A place of love, a place of spirit, a place of consciousness, a place of purity. What's my intention? You know what, friends? The real truth is that if you really practice this, really look at your intentions in what you speak, in what you do, and even what you think, there will be many times when you do absolutely nothing. Because you see that what you are going to say and do is not leading anywhere. It's not leading forward. It's not leading upward if we consider heaven is upward. It's not elevating our frequency, elevating our consciousness. It's not leading to the divine. So how can we do this? If what we do on a daily basis is very mundane, very worldly, very attached to the earth, how can we lead ourselves more towards the divine, towards spirituality, towards pure consciousness? Of course, one way is to practice meditation. And there are many different ways we can practice meditation. It seems everybody has their own different way to practice. So many people, so many teachers in the world have taught meditation. And then those people who practice those many teachers' teachings also develop their own way to practice. That's what I've done. I've had amazing teachers, but I am not my teachers. I don't think like my teachers. I don't look like my teachers. I don't sound like my teachers. I don't have the karma of my teachers. I can't teach what my teachers teach. Even if I did, it would still have to be in my own words. So I have to teach from my experience, and I trust it. I trust it because I have learned things while my mind has been perfectly clear, not obstructed with any alcohol or drugs, not obstructed with mental defilements, but seen things with a pure and clear mind. When you see things purely and clearly in their simple form, in their natural form, in their true nature, then you're seeing things as they really are. That to me also is a step closer to pure consciousness, and if you like to use the other words, divinity, spirituality. I just remembered a quote from my mum, and I don't know where she got it from. But she said, "You are closer to God in the garden." It only surfaced maybe 1 year or 2 years before Mum passed away. So I guess it was something maybe she heard fairly recently that she adopted by herself. But I really love that. And of course, I used to take Mum to the garden very often. We sat in the garden nearly every afternoon and had our afternoon tea, or we would take walks to the lake, which was also parkland, trees, etc. You are closer to God in the garden. You are closer to God in nature. In a way, also, what this says is you are closer to God away from other people. Not in a negative sense, but when you are by yourself in nature, by yourself in the garden, by yourself connected to the earth, then you are closer to the purity. This is also what we do in meditation. We are letting go of other people. Even though our thoughts may be about other people, about people from work, people in the family, people in your neighborhood, your community, people you see on the internet, people that you are friends with on Instagram and Facebook and blah, 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 blah. When they've all disappeared, all, every single human being that you've ever met, that you've ever thought about, when they are all gone, what's left? What is left in your mind? There's the simplicity, the purity of your own mind and body, if you like. Perhaps if you want to include the environment. But the clarity in the absence of others, and then the pure connection to nature, pure connection to, if you like, the garden, the earth, the four primary elements or the six elements. Even your own connection to your own mind, your feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, your mental states, liking, disliking, coming and going, angers and fears, happiness and sadness, the thoughts that come and go, the emotions, the mental reactions that come and go. Our ability to be with them, to feel them, to sense them, to not fight with them, to not judge them, to not blame them, to not criticize ourselves, but to see this is how the mind works. This is the conditioning of the mind. We start to become free. Actually, free from yourself. Sounds funny, doesn't it? To become free from yourself. This is also what we do in meditation. We become free from ourselves. Doesn't sound like something that many people would aspire to do. To become free from themselves. But if you want to become free from suffering, you will also have to become free from yourself. If you want to become free from yourself, you have to know yourself. You have to know, what is this thing that I call self? What is the nature of self? And what is non-self? Again, this is what we do in our practice. We watch and learn from the experiences of the present moment. And if we do this long enough, with patience and continuity, we learn the true nature of the body and mind. We learn, what am I? Not just who am I? Not just a story that I made up about myself, but what am I? What is my reality? So tonight I'd like to guide you in a little experience of what I'm talking about. We're going to do a meditation for a while. This meditation will be prompted and guided, but not all the time. There will be parts of silence, there will be parts of my interjections, my prompting. So if there's something you need to do, if you need to arrange your sitting position, if you need to go to the bathroom or get a drink or do whatever you need to do, please do so. We have a few minutes.